What up, DBZ fans?
Be quiet.
Time for some Dragon Ball Xenoverse gameplay.
Oh, great! He's still alive! Next up is...
Here's where things get really interesting. We're gonna make Hercule a beast. Which is just crazy. Because this character right here, man, I never liked Hercule. I hated this character.
Stop getting in my way!
It's kind of frustrating when you're watching the real animated series.
What?
You're kind of confused at how this guy doesn't realize that he's the weakest. It's impossible for him to do anything. And yet, they make his character so dumb, he can get smacked about 100 feet and still think that he can fight in battle. Still thinks that he can actually win it. In fact, I don't think it was until he fought like one of the androids when he realized he was the weakest.
Stop!
But I did. I absolutely hated Hercule. I hated his character. Hated his name, Mr. Satan. And I'm like, this is for children. You gotta understand. I grew up watching the Dragon Ball series initially, the one where Goku's a child. And then I watched the Frieza series, and then I went into the military. Like, I couldn't finish it. I started watching the Cell Saga, and I went into the military. So I didn't get a chance to really see Hercule that much until, you know, many years later when I decided to finish the whole series. And by that time, man, I really thought Hercule was the worst character I've ever seen in any cartoon. I couldn't believe it. And I'm pretty, you know, educated in terms of history, and I understand names and stuff like that, but if Mr. Popo wasn't racist enough with that blackface character, you know, the only brother in the whole show with an afro, his name had to be Mr. Satan. I was like, what the hell is going on? I couldn't accept it. I remember watching this was many years ago. You guys gotta understand how mad I was when I first saw that. Couldn't believe what I was seeing. But then again, the show was made in the 80s. And who knows what kind of racist mentalities were back then.
I honestly didn't expect this to be so much fun. Alright, there will be no more out of bounds.
I just didn't understand it. I mean, what were they thinking promoting? It's like you're promoting the devil or some type of devilish name in a cartoon for children. And at the time, I'm watching the show like, kids are watching this? This guy's name is Mr. Satan. Where's the parents at? Thought that was kind of crazy. And his name, Hercule Satan, that's an oxymoron. Because the name Hercule comes from Hercules, which was a black superhero depicted by the Greeks. And the name Hercules, that comes from the name Heru, or Horus. Some of you guys might know the name Horus, which, you know, was the son of Osar and Auset, or Osiris and Isis, in ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt. And Heru, he was the ancient Nubian Kemetic savior, you know, born of Osiris and Isis. He was their savior. He had to go fight Set. If you study, you know, Kemetic history and that kind of stuff. And so he was a savior. So you can't give Hercule both a savior's name and a devil's name at the same time. It just didn't make sense. His name is Hercule, that's a savior's name, you know, Hercules or Heru, and his name is Satan, so Hercule Satan, so he's the savior and the devil. Like, what? Huh? You know, I'm just saying, you know, some of you guys don't catch things like that. You're not aware, you're not awoken enough to understand these type of things, but I am. You know, I saw that from a mile away many years ago. Thought that was kind of crazy. Hercule actually started giving me that work. And this is where the game for me got a little annoying. I just hate fighting these little miniature fighters. And when I fight online, I hope to never come across a person that makes a real miniature fighter like this, because for me it's just annoying to get my butt kicked by something that small. You know, I understand it's supposed to be really powerful, but even watching the show when Cell Juniors were, you know, beating up on Goku and Piccolo and you know, and the whole Dragon Ball Z team, Tien couldn't handle them things, and after a while I started to wonder why Yamcha even shows up. He's like totally useless. I mean, at least Krillin is Goku's like best friend, so he has a reason to be there. As a kid, I used to think Yamcha was the best because I thought the character design, like his character's design, was the best. And that Wolfgang fist, thought that was really cool. You know, and Yamcha to me, and the fight between Yamcha and Tien, I thought that was awesome. Even though Tien broke his leg, you guys remember the original Dragon Ball series, he broke his leg. Thought Yamcha went out like a champ. This was also a pretty, you know, interesting turning point for me on the show as well, when we saw Gohan power up and he was, you know, gonna face Cell, and it was crazy because we saw Goku decide that he's gonna give up and let his son fight, and I was like, why? You've never given up on any fight ever, and now that the Earth is on the line, you're gonna give up? Thought that was a real bad, you know, plot to write into the storyline. And then Gohan, you know, as much as people like Gohan, I just never felt that he ever proved himself. You know, his father always came to help him, even in the Buu saga. You know, and I'll get to that later, but, you know, Vegeta and his father, they're the ones that really taken on Buu. Anyhow, it's your boy Shake. If you liked the video, click the like tab. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll be back with some more DBX gameplay for you guys later.